to make sure that the minion functions. You see it in the meeting. And who pays the expenses? Okay, let's see over here. Ish ein ba'el asara. A city, a therefore a village has only 10 people in it. Welke member uit zijn lot says beyond the royum, enable funds from Rebbe. Now, so the problem is they wouldn't have a minion. What do you do? He says, Kaifin Oisei Shoya. You say he must remain. He can't be involved with the minion. You want to go to the Rebbe? Or he has to hire someone that should come. Shekivin Shaminagu B'chol Tvutzas Hagoyla. Shafil Oisem She'en Minyan Sholem Kol Hashanah. Soichen Lahem Echad Eshnayim B'Yom Neroyim. They used to hire in a little shtetl where there was no minyan. So they, a whole year they don't do without a minyan. But Rosh Hashanah and Kippur you have to have a minyan. So they would hire someone to come to say that, pay them. Oy hochel and mok a minyan. Or they go, I mean, Rosh Hashanah they don't talk without a minyan. In Kippur they don't talk without a minyan. So it's Hareza Daima. Look, what's it? Martin? Hareza Daima, what's the abbreviation?
The Sefer Torah.
The Sefer Torah, Ubeis HaKnesses, Shebeneya Ir Kaifin Zeh to have it. The city has to have a Sefer Torah, the city has to have a shul. So you forced them. I remember I once went on America shlichus to Newfoundland. So in Newfoundland,
Where's that?
it's the end of it's called the Maritime Provinces. When you go to Canada, Montreal, and you go up to there's New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, and then there's Newfoundland.
All the way east.
Huh? All the way east. So over there in St. John's, Newfoundland, there was a minyan there. It was mixed, but at that time there were 40 Jewish families. Today there's a young man there, and they're building a mikveh and everything. And then on the way back from Newfoundland, there was a small shtetl in Newfoundland called Stephensville and Corner Brook, two little shtetl. Why did I go there? Because there was, remember there was once a Chaver Shas, Rabbi Alpin. Rabbi Alpin had a relative in that city. So he wanted I should visit him. So I came to visit him, and I asked him how many Jews are in the city. He said there's 7 Jews in the city. I said, so what do you do at Rosh Hashanah and Kippur? He says, there's an army base. And on the army base, there's some Jewish soldiers. So they take them together and they make a minyan. I'll tell you another story about the America shlichus. When we came over there, so the wife offered us some food. So we told her, I don't know, fruit we'll eat, and she took out a set of silverware, a nice big set of silverware. And I saw she was looking for some very little forks and very little spoons. So it seems like she noticed that I was looking at it because I thought maybe they were very rich people. Maybe these rich people only eat with little forks or little spoons. So she told us the reason I'm looking for these little ones because I try to keep kosher here. But I don't know if it's kosher according to your standards.
But the little ones.
So I'm looking for such thing which I know I never used. The sound. Okay. Avol im Heim Yud Aleph.
What's going on?
Das ausgerät, if there's 10 people there. and one wants to leave, and there wouldn't be a minion. So either you have to stay here, or you have to find someone else to replace you.
But it was 11.
What happens if there's 11? Yochel echad lotzes, ve'ein choishes shema yistarech acha lotzes l'nekavav, v'yisachu v'hamtim. It'll be inconvenience.
Rabbi, I have a small question.
So we're not choishes for that. Why? Because she'im kain ain't a davar sof. You know what I mean? As long as you have the 10 people, you'll have to figure out how to manage with the 10 people, how to work with the 10 people. V'im beis reitzim lotzes. Now, if you have 11 and 2 want to leave, and maybe remain with 9, so shneim tzarchen echad b'shutfus. They 2 hire 1 person. V'hashum aminyim v'mkaimim. Ushneim Yifru b'shova, afilu echad oni ve'echad osher. We learned before dinim that sometimes when you put a tax on people, there's a certain tax per head, and there's a certain tax that's per income. Over here he says the oni and the osher both have to pay equal for this replacement person that's coming in for Yom Leroyim. Kivan, why? Shekol echad chayiv l'hashma minyan. Oni k'mo yosher. Makes no difference if you have money or not. You have the same responsibility.
Yeah, but what if you don't have? You don't have
$300. Where is it? Avo im ein dorim b'yishuv el ches. If there's only 8 people living there, or 10 or 9. So you have to rent 1 or 2 people for the minyan. V'seichel echad beis v'hashma minyan. So over there, payrim chotzi lefi momon v'chotzi lefi nefashos. In other words, you pay, unless if it costs $100 a person to replace that, there should be a minyan. So you could make a motion that the gevir has to pay like $75 and the other month $25. In other words, that everyone pays $25 and the gevir adds another $50. Let's put it that way. It's the same chesed. Why? He gives a reason. Ki yesh shvara leima she'oni chayev hashramas haminyan k'moya asher. On one hand, you could say you have to make a minyan. What's up if you're rich or poor? You all need a minyan. You all have to seek to make the minyan. And v'yesh shvara leima she'oni yachal leilach l'ira smucha v'asher eini yachal lazar beisa rechushay. In other words, the Ottoman is not afraid if he leave. If he has a break-in, because they take by him. The gevir has a concern that if he goes away, so he's more interested to stay in the city. So therefore, he has to pay more. So there's 2 svaras. Look inside, not outside. So there's 2 svaras over here, how to approach it. So that's what he's saying. There's 2 ways to do it.
It sounds what he's saying is, if it's $100, you take 50 and 50. $150 you divide equally per capita. The other 50 you do this income evaluation.
Yes, I said 75 and 25. That's what it's saying. The same thing. But he's giving you the logic behind it. Cain, now being that there's 2 ways to approach it, either 50 and 50 or 75 and 25, being those 2 words, Cain, and therefore, Yasu Pshara Zosh. Masha'en Cain, Kishadorin Kan Minyan Shalom, Ein Echad Mehem Rashoy Guvatel HaMinyan, Afilu Yelach Hu Ish Yeshba Minyan. So over there, everyone has to pay the same amount.
So we don't see it today. People, they paid for a million.
Huh?
There might be places
They
that do that.
can pay, some
They pay for
doesn't
people.
pay.
There could be
He wait for
places
next
that do
year.
that.
That's why they make a breakfast to get people to come. If they,
I used to have a time when I used to pay someone to come to Duchen Yantef. I didn't have a kain in shul. It happens, these things.
Well, they make it expensive these days.
Then there was a time in the shul when Kranites was difficult. I had to ask, get a bocha that would come to be mushroom to the minyan.
Right, sure, that's
Yeah,
it.
and the bocha would come and sit in the back and say Tillim, you know, and the people would look at him, he's not davening, you know, at the...
That happened a lot.
yeah, but especially with Chiyuvim. They didn't always, in the early minions, they didn't always have time. So they hired Bochum to come. They would pay them.
No, it says another detail about leaving and putting the minyan in jeopardy. Kol hayotzim, all those who leave, be'inyan shetzrichen liska achar b'mkaimet, where, like, in other words, where it was 10 and you're one of the 10, you want to leave and you have to hire someone to fill up the minyan. Tzrichen gam kein litein l'schar shliach tzibur. In other words, they had to pay the chazan, right?
Everyone had to pay. And you're leaving, you don't want to pay.
Yes, they say, I'm not going to be there, so I be you. You're not going to be there, but you have a responsibility to the minyan to pay for the chazan. Ki'il v'yotzu, as though they didn't go out. V'afilu mi she'yotzu l'zman orach, l'fnei yontif. If you're not only leaving for yontif, but you leave 2 months before, so I'm not already part of the city. No. So the litin l'schar ha'shatz, v'ashlomas ha'minyan, k'may she'yotzu samach l'yontif. The same as he would be going out close to yontif. Kivan shelo yachzor b'yontif, l'beisai, he's not coming back for yontif. Umi she'ena yachol lazor l'beisai machmas einis, she'ena rashoy loviv b'medina. There's some problem with the government that he can't come in. It's, as I was saying, in such a case, Potter, afili gias mana regel. In other words, because he can't come, so he's really not a part of the city doesn't really rely on him. The city has to count as though he's not there. For who should honest mamish, he has to be a real honest. Avo im machmas chayv mamen oipshia lo yochol lavoi lo yafsidu chaveiro chalkom.
If the IRS is after you, it's not a good excuse.
Right, it depends what Moshe. If you're running away, if you're running away because the police are looking for you or what, so
Pay up before
then
you
you
go.
have to then you carry us because you're still a teacher of the city.
Let them 3 billion.
You know what someone once said that we say mepnei einu galinu me'atzeinu, and there's people that say mepnei einu galinu li'atzeinu. Okay.
That's very true.
Now he says, Ein kaifen liska lahashkem aminyan. All these dinim that we spoke about till now, about having the responsibility and to pay or to hire someone, this is only talked about b'yom neroim. Not that it's okay to daven during the week during the year without a minyan, but it's acceptable. You're living in the whole Masechta Megillah that talks about Megillah in the grass. You basically give them. It's all for the Shtetlerach where they didn't have a minyan, that they came in. It doesn't say that they have to get a minyan and bring a minyan there and read the Megillah. Because that was a style of living, and people had to live on the farms, and the farms produced for the city. So it was like a requirement in order to be able to maintain.
There was